The Golden Grimm by Neon Zangetsu, Chapter 4, Fraying the Seams. There is nothing more dangerous in this world than a determined journalist. Prophecy, fraying the seams. Naruto knew he shouldn't stay any longer. It hurt him to admit that, wounded his sad soul more than words could possibly describe. But there it was, the truth. He'd lingered too long, another day, and Olive Patch might well pay the price for his hubris. He shouldn't have spent the night at all, yet in a moment of weakness he faltered, caved to human comfort and the companionship he'd eschewed for so long, and now he found himself here, not wanting to go. Truly, he bore these people no ill will. Really, he didn't. He simply endangered them by being here. Even now, he felt nearby Grimm, tugging at his consciousness, a series of jabs, thorns that pulled harder with each passing hour. They were curious for the time being, intrigued. War, not yet feeling to risk themselves and approach him outright, let alone attack, but that would soon change. These walls would not protect him. They wouldn't protect anyone. Eat it, he muffled a sigh within his palm and pressed his forehead to the kitchen table. What were you thinking? You knew this would happen. Are you okay, Uncle? I'm fine, Ruby, he sighed at the little girl sitting cross-legged across from him. Without thinking, he reached around and patted her head. And I'm not your uncle. The girl in question winced, yet remained quite unbowed in the face of his resolve. You are? Gullyless silver eyes met wary blue. Yes, you are. She up but latched onto his hand. You saved Mommy. That makes you family. So, her brow furrowed. Uncle. Ah, the logic of a child. How he'd forgotten it. All right, he chortled softly. Uncle, can I have my hand back? No, take backs. Ruby refused to release his hand, a cheeky imp that she was. Naruto stifled the patient sigh. Have it your own way. He didn't know who this Ospen fellow was that Crow had threatened him with, but as either had yet to materialize with the dawn, he counted himself lucky. He just needed to leave before he met the man. Crow seemed the story to carry through with a threat. Certainly when family was involved. A faint shifting in his shoulder told him his guest was acting up again. He'd given the little creature a name, and it seemed stronger for it. Casper seemed fitting that. Naruto turned a weathered eye on it. Stay in there, you. The little fellow most assuredly did not. Breakfast is ready, he said with a wary effort. One last meal wouldn't hurt, surely? Naruto wasn't trying to hide. For the life of her, Lisa Lavender couldn't understand. She'd managed to ferret out her quarry's name and inscribe it as it might sound. He hadn't fled in the night. He had made no effort to leave Patch behind, to run, or even had come and gone. A few allowed her to track him down. She had found him easily, dare she say too easily. A few greased palms here, a kind word there, and she was led right to his doorsteps. Well, not his doorstep. This was the house of one Taiyang Xiaolong, a retired huntsman. Did he have any idea who he was harboring? Probably not. Made things interesting, that did. Surely a man with such power knew better. It was just common sense. When your very existence threatened to shatter the norms of society, you didn't stay in one place for long. Plain common sense, that. So why? Was he a coward or a killer? Brave or just foolish? Her knees twisted, idly rubbing together as she neared the worn oak door. She just had to know. She must know. She needed to know. Lisa raised her fist and swung. Knock, knock, knock. Destiny calls. Osmond pinched the brow of his nose. This changed things, and yet things must not change. To think of Grimm as people threatened to unbalance the world itself, yet to sacrifice a single being to preserve the balance of this world, it didn't feel right. He had met with him, get the measure of this man before he damned him. Nothing less would do. Someone was knocking on their door. A steady tap, tap, tap drilled through the wood, like some wily woodpecker come to call. The sound reverberated loudly through the household, a timeless call that couldn't be ignored. They weren't terribly loud about it at all. That just really, really, really persistent. Ruby on a sugar high kind of persistent. Tap, tap, tap. Tap 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 tap. Yang paid it no mind at first. Her focus was fixed firmly on the heaping pile of pancakes Mommy and Daddy had given her. Ruby tried to steal some as she always did, which started something of a war between the two of them. Sure, that worked for a while, but only a while. That knocking just wouldn't stop. Really, she wanted to smack whoever was on the other side. Is anyone there? A woman's voice came through. I'm looking for a man named Naruto. Mom and Dad exchanged a glance. The blonde in question groaned. Guess that's my cue. I'll get it. Mom winced. You sure? Yeah, this is my problem. Stay out of it. Now it was Dad's turn to wince. You're right. If she's seen like this, Dad didn't need to be told twice. He ushered Mom upstairs. Ruby darted up the steps after her, unwilling to be separated again after so long an absence. Yang barely paid them any mind. Her attention was fixed firmly on the door. She lingered when she really shouldn't have, and so she saw it all. Uncle Naruto patted to the door with the look of a man grounded for life. Was he in trouble? He looked like he was in trouble. Why would he be in trouble? He knew Uncle was a good person. He had to be. Anyone who did the things he did must be good. She refused to believe otherwise. He'd brought Summer back. Even if she looked a little different, didn't matter. Mom was Mom. That mattered. She craned her neck and watched the door creak open a few inches. Hello? A woman with wild golden eyes and long violet hair thrust her head through, grinning from ear to ear. You must be Naruto. Her new uncle recoiled. And you are... Call me Lisa. The young woman smiled, but made no move to enter. Lisa Lavender. She reached through and shook his hand. I'm your friend, Naruto. I want to tell the world your story. His face closed down immediately. Lock, stock, and barrel. Don't have a story to tell. See, you say that, she cooed, but I'm thinking you do. After all, Lisa leaned forward and whispered something. Whatever it was had Naruto recoiling with a hiss. He tried to shut the door in her face, only for her to stick a foot in and deny him. Her forehead struck his, and for an awful moment, Yang couldn't help but wonder if they were going to fight. Neither batted so much as an eyelash. Are you mad? How did you see that? Maybe a little. Lisa planted a fist on her hip. All the best reporters are, and I have my sources. So, what do you say to an interview? You don't have a camera. Her grin reminded Yang of a shark. Give me 5 minutes and I'll have a full crew here. Naruto's jaw clenched. Or later, if you'd like. Her hand flitted out, passing something to him. Here's my card. A piece of paper flitted between them, and she scribbled something on it. Meet me at this address if you want to talk. Just remember, I saw you first. An elbow nudged his ribs. I'm happy to sit on this for a day or two. Don't keep me waiting. Why me? Because you're going to change the world. I like change. Lisa's smile gained an edge. I want to be part of that. Change? What kind of change? Yang didn't understand. She wasn't sure she wanted to. In the end, Uncle Naruto took the crazy lady by the arm and escorted her out. Just as well, too, because Yang spied movement in the window. That was Crow now, coming down the road. She saw him through the glass. There was another man behind him, a man with a cane. She turned just in time to see Lisa book it. Mary, golden eyes, saw her and winked. Ciao, darling. I'll ask this again. Do you work for Salem? No, Naruto all but bit the word out, resisting the urge to grind his teeth. I didn't even know who she was until a few days ago. Seated at the row/long family table, he found himself the subject of some scrutiny. Crow loomed before him. Summer had taken up a flanking position on his left, while Tai had claimed his right, doubtless to keep him from fleeing, or perhaps they were standing with him. He wasn't sure which was worse. No doubt they thought they were helping him. They weren't. You're with her, aren't you? The former accused. You're on her side. Side? What side? Naruto grit his teeth at the man before him. I'm on humanity's side. And yet Miss Rose is much changed because of you. The man whom he now knew to be Ospen swept an arm toward Summer. She's not even human anymore. A power like that. Only Salem could have it. I don't care what you believe. Another headache hit, and he blinked back stars. It's the truth. Ask your questions and leave. I will have the truth. Oz, stop that right now. Summer clamped a hand down on his before he could speak. He saved me. Give him the benefit of the doubt. More like he made you one of them. He turned you into, I don't know. Crow flailed for the words. A hybrid or something? Naruto clicked his tongue. Paranoid old bird. Oi! Let's all calm down. Taiyang thrust himself between them before they could come to blows. We're all friends here. Are we? Naruto glowered bloody red daggers at Crow. Blasted bird brain doesn't seem to think so. Much to his chagrin, Osmond seemed to agree. We'll need to run tests at the very least, Summer whimpered. His resolve hardened. Not happening. Why ever not? The wise old sage frowned. If you're as innocent as you claim, then surely you wouldn't object to a bit of blood work and be your lab rat. He turned his head aside and spat. Never. I don't work for you. But you could. After the way you and yours have treated me so far, his hand slammed down on the table. I don't think so. He didn't trust any of these people. More than that, they were coming. Yet when he tried to stand, he found himself blocked once more. Do you wish to make an enemy of us, then? Naruto didn't answer him. Blue eyes rose to comprehend the ceiling fan above, lazily watching it spin round and round. He wondered if it would make a decent distraction for what was to come. Cannot be revealed to the world. Osmond's world snapped him back to reality. I'm sorry, son, but I'm afraid we'll have to take you into custody. He must have seen the anger in his eyes, because he took a short step back from him. I cannot take any chances. Rest assured, I will see that you are treated humanely. Panic beat its wing within his chest, and Naruto felt his shoulders quiver. No, no cages, not ever again. It wasn't fair. He just wanted to help, and they were going to lock him up. No, he couldn't stay, not when it would put everyone in danger. You're making a mistake. He lowered his gaze and looked upon the face that threatened to undo all the good he'd done. I'm not your enemy, Osmond. I don't want to be your enemy, but you're going to make one of me at this rate. This from the man who leads Grimm. His words fell on deaf ears. Your deeds say otherwise. Naruto grit his teeth. Look, I'll do it for you. A clawed finger stabbed forward. The Grimm are attracted to me. His words struck hard, shattering whatever argument they might have made. They'll find me here, sooner or later. I need to get gone before that happens. Before they. He swallowed once, steeling himself, and said the damning word. Before they attack. There, he'd said it. Any moment now, they'd kick him out. This would be over, and he could go on his merry way. I'm afraid it's not that simple. How can we believe what you just said? Yes, it is. Naruto clicked his teeth as he raised his gaze. You can make it simple. You have that power. Let me go, and you'll never hear from me again. Something rattled the house. Something big. Everyone jumped. Summer swore. What was that just now? Enough. Naruto sighed. I'm leaving. All hell broke loose. Grom made a reckless grab for his arm. Casper burst out of a shoulder and shrieked out for it. The poor drunkard recoiled and staggered back, hit the table, then went crashing over it as the Grimm gave him a good hard shove. Naruto saw his chance for what it was and made a beeline for the window. Osmond intercepted him. He swept his feet, sending him tumbling down into Crow. Tangled up in one another, neither men were in any shape to stop him, nor what came barreling through the front door. An alarming crunch filled the air, and he had all of an instant to raise an arm as the wall behind him evaporated. Just as well, because he turned to find himself face to face with a massive bear wolf. Are you kidding me? You have such shitty timing. Previews. Lisa flashed the jaunty little wave. Long time no see. We literally spoke this morning. Semantics. No, not now. The beast was massive, not at all like the wolf he'd faced, easily twice his size, all but rippling with muscles. It must have come from the deeper parts of the forest. He took one look at Summer and ignored her, as it would any other Grimm. Not so Naruto. It loped forward. Naruto saw it in his mind's eye. Azure orbs flashed into scarlet. Stay! He stepped a finger at the monstrosity before it could bound forward toward Summer's house. His voice was word and light and power. There was no time for niceties. He didn't simply break the Grimm. He dominated it, all but lashed his will against it. Feeble intellect, and shoved it down. Black fur, burning gold. Oh, wow, he heard Summer whisper behind him. So that's what it looks like. Good boy. Naruto slapped the beast on the shoulder. Come on, it's time to go. A wash of hot steam struck him in the face as the beast imploded from within. Osmond's cane clattered to the floor. No, that's impossible. Stop putting people in Grimm, damn it. The hell am I supposed to do with all these followers? Excuse me. Screw it. He reached down and helped them to their feet. It has been so long, and my path so dark. I no longer remember my first name. Well, that's going to be a problem. Very much so, in more ways than one. What do I call you? I led a pack. The young, dusty-skinned woman rose, silver eyes flashing, and gazed upon him. Alpha. My name is Alpha. Unfortunately, in standing, she lost the cloak he'd flung over her shoulder. Naruto pinched his brow. Clothes. Now, please, wear them. She frowned. Why? Because you're human now? And end of chapter 4.